Epidemic and disease has accompanied mankind throughout the entirety of its existence. The panic and fear that they spread during their reign is highly detailed and colorfully reflected in the literature and paintings of that period. The great pandemics of the past changed the course of history and took the lives of as many as the most atrocious world wars and conflicts. For centuries, people have unsuccessfully tried to find the root cause of the occurrence of those and other deadly diseases. The most bizarre means were used: witchcraft, prayer, astrology, magic, occult sciences, or other obscure means, but all to little avail. However, almost nothing was helpful. People remained defenseless in the face of infection. Our story is one of a continuous struggle for survival. At all times, war was the primary source of the epidemics. Mass congestion in limited space and terrible living conditions with wars, unburied bodies of those killed on the battlefields, unsanitary conditions, famine, and so on. All this invariably led to outbreaks of infectious diseases and resulted in the death of many thousands of non-combat casualties. For a long time, medicine did not understand the infectious nature of the disease. According to available statistics, up until the middle of the 19th century, as many as 2/3 of all deaths that occurred during armed conflicts were due to poor sanitation. It was only by the end of the 19th century that the true causes of the plagues that claimed millions of lives were revealed to man. The plague, Spanish flu, smallpox, cholera, tuberculosis, dysentery, and many other ailments took millions of lives, changed the mass consciousness, and turned the tide of the historical process. As it turned out, these diseases were caused by pathogenic viruses and microorganisms entering the body. These rapidly penetrated inside the person and formed large lesions, thus exerting a powerful toxic effect. We fought a war on two fronts and battled not only the visible but also the invisible, a hidden, unknown opponent that proved to be an incredibly powerful adversary. Modern medicine and medical technology has in many ways helped to resolve these age-old problems. It has significantly slowed down and at times even stopped the spread of infectious diseases. Scientific and technological progress has provided the medical community with an unprecedented opportunity for diagnostics and enabled us to study the nature of these pathogenic agents. With the development of pharmacology and the advent of antibiotics, we have made significant progress in disease control and maintenance of public health, observing hygiene, ensuring sterility and cleanliness of specialized medical facilities and instruments, and vaccinating the population against the most common diseases. These factors, together with a technological breakthrough in the field of medicine production and the manufacture of medical equipment, have ensured that the average life expectancy in the second half of the 20th century has grown substantially. Almost everyone today has access to medicine. With an occurrence of the first symptoms of disease, we can go to the nearest drugstore and obtain the medication to combat the incipient or fully developed illness. This makes us a much more difficult target to hit. However, is everything so clear? Like humanity, viruses and bacteria are rapidly evolving and mutating. They have adapted to current treatments. A virus is not a cellular infectious agent. Viruses in search of a victim suitable for virus replication of an organism's cell continuously travel through the human circulatory system. The main weapon of viruses is the genetic material located in its core being protected within a protein shell. Capturing a cell, the virus builds its own genome into it and turns it into its vassal, a farm for its own reproduction and duplication. By the mixture of viral and cellular genetic material, new viral forms produced in the human body have increased resistance and adaptability. This significantly accelerates their reproduction and distribution. After the virus has exhausted the cell's resources, its destruction takes place, and subsequently, there is a release of the newly produced agents to the outside. It is through this insidious use of the human cellular structure, the viral disease forms become extremely resistant to medical intervention. They are difficult to treat and extremely dangerous for all living beings. The solution for the 21st century is the rapid development of frequency therapy and other non-drug-related methods of health management. At the forefront of the world movement is DE Holding. The company with 25 years of research and development experience and production knowledge of health equipment was able to consolidate that expertise into portable electromagnetic therapy devices. DeVita AP is a true revolution in the fight against parasites. Compact and convenient, multifunctional, and extremely effective. This device is a necessity for any modern-day person focused on health and personal well-being. However, the story of its appearance dates back to the 20th century. The idea of using the frequency characteristics of pathogenic microflora infections to suppress them appeared a long time ago. In the first instance, it was so brightly and vividly expounded upon in the published writings of the American optics physicist Royal Raymond Wright, who invented the light microscope. He rotated the prisms of his device, changed the length of the light beam passing through various cultures, for example, microbes, viruses, etc. He noticed the effect of luminescence, that is, in the transmitted light stream, certain microbes glowed in a very specific way, and since he could change the length of the light beam, he could accurately measure the wavelength and frequency characteristics of the observed infection. After numerous years of applying his methodology and studying this phenomenon, he managed to create a register of the frequency characteristics of various viral particles, bacteria, parasites, fungi, protozoa, and an abundance of pathogenic microflora. When Rife observed the frequency characteristics of the viruses and fungi, he came to a logical conclusion and expressed an inspirational idea. What if we create a frequency generator and apply it to affect the pathogenic microflora? By application of these frequencies, specific for various viruses and bacteria, we can destroy them. Because the resistance phenomena, as is well known in physics, causes the reinforcement of one wave upon another. In other words, resonance. Resonance, based on matching the frequency characteristics of the waveforms, which increase amplitude, causes the destruction of the bacterial body, virus particle, or parasite. He dared to take the step of serious experimentation that shocked the entire medical community in a positive way. He invited patients to his experiment that were in the terminal phase of cancer and were refused treatment by all others. In fact, these were people who were doomed to imminent death, being diagnosed as having 1, 2, or 3 months left to live. All of them had specific infections, because cancer is accompanied by reduced immunity. These were 16 patients in the terminal phase of cancer. He applied his methodology and used the frequency characteristics that he had discovered. Within 3 months, he had managed to completely cure 14 of the 16 patients. The 2 remaining patients recovered a little later. It was an absolute sensation. He did all of this in public and not behind the scenes. He called a massive number of doctors to a forum, where he delivered a highly detailed speech, evidently from the point of view of the entire survey in the classic version. It had the effect of a bombshell, because the medical community was completely puzzled. How was it possible to cure an illness diagnosed as terminal without medication? Of course, some doctors were very interested in this, but others were very skeptical. As such, as is often the case with authors of such controversial ideas, He was subjected to various forms of persecution. He was ostracized, falsely accused, and they tried successfully to discredit his reputation. However, his work remained. The most important part of Reif's work was his register of frequencies, and this remained. All of these frequencies are specific to the characteristics of individual types of bacteria, viruses, fungi, and other pathogenic microflora. They became not only the property of the medical community, but also of the associated specialists, technicians, physicists, electronic engineers. It was Reif's idea that were incorporated into the DeVita AP. From an engineering point of view, the DeVita AP is a customizable, high-precision wave generator working over a wide frequency range and with various preset programs. The principle of operation of the device is based upon the superposition of frequencies, carrier and modulating. A carrier frequency of 27 megahertz provides penetration of the primary working frequency deep into the human body, directly affecting pathogens. The frequency range is from 0.1 Hz to 72 kHz, which is totally sufficient to resolve all duties assigned to the device. It is vital to produce a clean and accurate signal without interference or distortion. This is why special attention has been paid to the development of the technical specification for this device, in particular to its main part, a radiating antenna. This has very specific properties and parameters, allowing it to deliver an accuracy of up to 0.01%. This directly affects the effectiveness of wellness treatments. The principle of the device is based on the resonance. Delivering the signal to the targeted virus, bacteria, or fungus deep inside the human body, we achieve an increase in the intensity of its oscillatory processes well beyond its norms. When the oscillations achieve the maximum limit of its biological membranes, they rupture them, and they subsequently die. This allows us to be highly accurate and efficiently destroy the cause of the ailment without affecting the human microflora, and as gently and carefully as possible, resolve the problem and restore health. This is the device that generates electromagnetic oscillations with frequencies characteristics of pathogenic microflora. When we use this device, tuned to the infection that is causing acute or chronic inflammation in one or another organ of a person, the effect begins immediately after turning it on. This is literally in the first minutes after the start of its use. DeVita AP is the most unique device that was developed by our company. Why is it the most unique? Because such a device has never existed before. This is probably the only appliance, technical device, that can very effectively deal with different types of infection. These include viruses, bacteria, fungal infections, and even helminths. This device achieves 96% effectiveness. In fact, there was previously nothing like this in the world. Even different medicines do not achieve such high effectiveness. We get such high effectiveness without any negative effect upon the person himself. That is, very physiological, very environmentally friendly, and at the same time gives you the opportunity to eliminate those infections which frequently require long treatment. We have the power of the devices designed so that it is as painless as possible for a person. That is, after 5 to 7 sessions, the maximum number of infections already completely die. They die. It's not about deactivation or being dormant. These infections can be inside or outside a person, because this technique works not only in human, but also in vitro. That is, aquariums and hives with bees, or any other items in which liquid is present, and in which bacteria live. It works very well. However, the most important thing is that the process itself takes place precisely by destruction, by rupture. We can observe the same effect when a high-pitched sound causes a crystal glass to resonate and the glass shatters. Or the same resonant phenomenon would be observed if a company of soldiers marched in synchronization on a bridge. It would be oscillated and eventually collapse. This is the same effect that occurs within an infection. In the case of bacteria, they actually burst. But if we are talking about helminths, the outer shell remains intact, but its interior bursts. This is the cause of the helminth's death. Worm invasion generally very often causes allergies in children and adults, including asthma. They often undergo immediate hormone therapy. I have had patients with determined diagnosis. There was a root cause. They suffered with helminths, parasitic invasion. The parasites were destroyed using DeVita AP devices. The patients were fully recovered, and their healthy bronchial pulmonary function was restored, and all allergic reactions and other symptoms disappeared. It is very important that in the human body, with the death of various infections, must be the tools of cleaning up, our internal tools, the blood cells in the human body in the right amount that would help cleanse the organism. Our DeVita AP not only kills the infection, but it also contributes to the thorough cleansing of the body. DeVita AP stimulates toxin release from the structure of various organs through the bloodstream, the lymphatic system, and various excretory systems, such as gastrointestinal tract, urinary system, sweat glands, etc. When this occurs, these toxins are released outside the body. That is, what was inside is thrown out. Sometimes it can be rather heavy, and a person starts to feel a little unwell because a lot of toxins are released into the blood, and the body has insufficient time to eliminate them all at once. The toxins are different. There are liquid toxins, but there are also those in a colloidal state that still need to be dissolved before they enter into the blood. This whole process is managed by the program Body Detox on the DeVita AP device. In September 2015, we evaluated this device together with DeVita Rhythm and DeVita Energy at the Moscow Regional Research Clinical Institute. In our clinical double-blind trials, we worked with blood serum taken from a variety of patients with different diagnoses. The experiments were performed in vitro. That is, the device was turned on and passed over 20 test tubes containing the serum, and then we watched how its crystal structure, in which the certain markers had appeared, was changing. Markers indicating the presence of an inflammatory process, markers showing activation of defense mechanisms, markers showing detoxification or intoxication, and markers signaling improved microcirculation. As for the DeVita AP, we use the programs Lymph and Detox, which are excellent for detoxification. Professor Svetlana Nikolaevna Shatokhina, who led this experiment, gave us a brilliant review. She was very surprised with the results because blood is a substance that is very resistant to any external influences. It normally returns to its original state after 4 hours, as if unaffected. However, she observed a very interesting phenomenon. That is, the blood had not only changed for the better after exposure, but had improved even more by the following day, in terms of the resultant effect of the action. DeVita AP remains a highly functional device. It acts as a destructive device. It destroys infection. Therefore, we believe it is extremely important to apply a complex solution. Once we remove infection, we need to restore normality to system functions. We need to restore or repair the damage of the system caused by the infection we have removed. That's why the integrated approach we recommend is to use the DeVita AP in combination with the DeVita Rhythm. Combined use of these devices provides maximum performance and minimizes any toxic load. DeVita AP basically works by destroying the disease agent with its frequencies. However, to eliminate the effect of impact of the agent, it's better to follow up with the use of DeVita Rhythm. DeVita Rhythm begins to regenerate the damaged organ once the appropriate program is selected. An integrated approach to recovery allows a person to lead an active life filled with energy, joy, and positivity. Cleansing, restoring, and maintaining a healthy body through the use of technology gives a sensational effect. It gives us the opportunity to always remain full participants in social relations, preserving youthfulness, beauty, and freshness at any age. Our feelings directly affect the quality of the emotions we experience, the overall level of our satisfaction with life. It improves our relationships with others, our successes and results, because a healthy person can be truly happy. The biggest advantage of our DeVita AP is that it works with the electromagnetic field, and that electromagnetic field completely permeates the human body. Therefore, it does not matter where the infection is located. It could be located in the genitourinary system, in the brain, or in the nervous system, wherever. The effect is still complete. In other words, we destroy this infection throughout all parts of the body. I would say that our device is very contemporary for the current technological world we live in. A person wants to be healthy and active without the need to spend too much time to achieve this. In this respect, our technology provides people of today with exactly this opportunity. Be it an acute respiratory infection, flu, or some kind of intestinal poisoning, or the H. pylori infection is present, and considered by many gastroenterologists to be the cause of the inflammation of the gastrointestinal tract, as serious as peptic ulcer, Staphylococcus streptococcus, which in mass is a scourge for surgeons, transplantologists, and other medical experts. This is because antibiotic therapy is no longer effective. Fungal infection breeds every year, and it mutates due to excessive use of antibiotics, which humanity began to administer without proper control. The use of tools such as DeVita AP and DeVita AP Mini allows a huge number of problem cases to be solved. Suppression of acute and chronic infections without the use of medicines, as would be administered both in medical institutions and at home, is a valuable and important benefit. It is precisely because the DeVita AP has such a high performance that it is now in great demand in many countries throughout the world. I get numerous requests to conduct research and with various themes. They come nearly from all countries of the world, from Asia, from Africa, America. We strive to deliver what is needed, as the database for this device is really massive. If we take a well-known disease like herpes, in conventional medicine, this viral group is not treated with medicine, as antibiotics are ineffective against viruses. Unfortunately, herpes is not only a blemish that manifests on the lip or somewhere on the cheek. The biggest negative of herpes, the herpetic infection itself, and other viruses of the herpetic group, is harm done inside the body. The same herpes virus can strike at the human nerve tissue and lymphatic system. If we are talking about genitourinary herpes, it is the primary cause of miscarriage and infertility for many unfortunate couples hoping to have children. Because it affects both men and women, it has very unpleasant consequences, which, unfortunately, exist for human beings. And although supposedly harmless, it can lead to very serious problems.
И при всей такой якобы безобидности может приводить к очень серьезным проблемам.
From 80 to 90% of people are infected, and while some have obvious symptoms, many have little or no apparent signs of the presence of the virus. For example, cytomegalovirus infection contributes to stillbirth or developmental disabilities in children, including also infertility. Therefore, a woman cannot become pregnant if she is infected. Therefore, when a woman intends to become pregnant, she should examine herself and undertake either curative or preventative measures. DeVita AP is absolutely safe for use at any age. A happy childhood is an active childhood. To help a child grow up strong, joyful, without wasting precious childhood time with illness and malaise, he needs protection. DeVita AP helps get rid of today's most common pathogens, gently and without undue toxic effect, removing the infectious load and significantly enhancing the body's defenses. The health of our children is our most precious treasure. However, it is directly related to the health of the parents, and that is why it is so important to use DeVita technology for the whole family. It helps to protect not only us, but our children, providing them with a bright and prosperous childhood. It is crucial to understand that when the body's defense mechanism is weakened for a variety of reasons, such as stress, hypothermia, unhealthy diet, or our environment, then due to this fact, we become very vulnerable to infection. Any parasitic infection, whatever it is, immediately takes hold within the organism or propagates itself as if it was lying dormant. It's almost impossible to be in a sterile environment. So, the same infections, the same fungi or bacteria are always to some extent among us. This includes the normal microflora that is involved in our digestive process. Here is when we start using DeVita AP to destroy or suppress the growth of pathogenic microflora inside our body. We mobilize our immune defenses, which start to recover and take control of the situation, and they begin to attack and kill any remnants that were lurking somewhere in the corners of our body. The development of society, scientific and technological progress have led to a significant increase of its effect upon the anthropogenic component and the natural balance, progressively shifting away from the side of the people. Health is an integrated system, and the state of the whole depends on its parts. There are many factors. The main ones are known to everyone. That is the way of life and thinking, the food we eat, human activity, and the people surrounding us, as well as the environment we live in. Ecology and human health are tightly interconnected. If there are violations of one, then the other will respond appropriately. The risk of a serious illness for a man living in nature is far less than that for his counterpart living in a city, where the situation is worse not only because of chemical smog, but also due to electromagnetic influence, which became a physical mutagenic factor leading to imbalance between various elements of the ecosystem. In such conditions, DeVita technology, and in particular the DeVita AP device, is an irreplaceable tool for personal health management. Analogous devices that are in close efficiency probably do not exist today. Of course, the recovery process takes a certain amount of time, and this period is due to the inertia of human organs and systems. Each system has its own timescale for recovery, but the results achieved for health improvement for health restoration, and for returning activeness to people are perfect. They make us glad because people restore their health and regain normal activity. Those who start using DeVita AP, they stop being ill with catching cold because their immune defense becomes so strong that people are resistant to commonplace infections that strike down everyone else. For example, kids in class using the DeVita AP no longer suffer sickness, unlike all others who spend a great deal of time at home instead of attending kindergarten or school. Moreover, together with the children, their parents are ill. Those who have DeVita AP in their family eliminate illness. Not only their cheerfulness, but their capacity for work increases. There is a duplex effect, both therapeutic and prophylactic, with the preventative effect, I'd say, being no less intense than the therapeutic effect. It is accompanied with increased efficiency of immune system and improved functioning of the lymphatic system. In fact, we in our company pay great attention to our various scientific studies. I have to say that I do not stop research in vitro. Most often we do in vitro. Recently, I was pleased with the fact that our technology not only works effectively against parasites that affect men and animals, but against parasites that attack agricultural crops. Specifically, results can be achieved when fighting insects and pests. This is still a very new concept for us, but I think it is a direction we may take because growing organic products and saving a harvest is gaining a lot of attention in many countries. People are willing to finance these projects at the state level to reduce pesticides and other chemicals in food throughout various regions.
Тоже большой вклад в здоровье людей.
In the future, if we are to take this route, then I believe that it will also be a great contribution to people's health. Proper nutrition is the basis of a healthy life. However, in many ways, the value of the food we eat depends upon the quality of the ingredients included in its recipe. Today, organic farm products, grown in close natural conditions with no added synthetic pesticides or other harmful compounds, are available for a limited circle of consumers. However, in the contemporary world, taking into consideration the existing tendencies, with the development of frequency therapy and bioresonance technology, everyone will be able to have access to delicious, healthy food that is free from harmful additives. You see what the human body is. It is, roughly speaking, a biological machine. Please tell me, what machine does not have a need for any repair? There may be a need for a major overhaul, and there will be a requirement for its maintenance. So, if we are going to treat our body correctly, as is necessary for the life of the machine, let's treat it well, support it, and not abuse it. I've not had any case where parasites were not destroyed with DeVita AP, providing the correct frequencies were selected.